Okay, so I have my machine here. It says buy Bitcoin using spare change. So I just tap on start. I can put in, now I'm gonna put in a dollar coin. I also have a $1 bill.
Okay.
So I just put in the bills down here. So now it says my balance is $2.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna create a Lightning invoice. It can work with a Lightning invoice or a Lightning address as well. So I have a Lightning invoice on my phone. When I tap on continue, I just show my QR code to the camera. It read it, and I just got my sats.
Welcome back to another episode of Bitfinex Talks. I'm your host, Ricardo Martinez. Today, I am very pleased to be joined by Edgar Borja, who is the founder and CEO of K1. K1 is a Lightning ATM Bitcoin startup. Edgar, how are you? Thank you for coming on the show.
Good, Ricardo. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I first met you, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was in 2022 at Adopting Bitcoin in El Salvador. And you had the machine set up there in the conference. And I remember every day of the conference, I would go there in the morning with all the change that I had in my pockets, drop it into the machine, scan the code, receive my Lightning, and then I would use that change that I converted to Satoshis to buy stuff at the conference.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of people got to know us during that conference. Uh, it's what you describe is one of our a perfect use case for our machines because you can come with a quarter, with a nickel, or if you're in another country, with a 500 peso coin, or from Colombia, or a 2 peso coin from Mexico, whatever, and the machine can be set up to accept coins, and then immediately pay you back in Lightning. So it's just the easiest way to buy Bitcoin anywhere. And we've also come a long way from then because now we also have a machine that has a bill acceptor. So the
Oh,
machine can
wow.
take a $20 bill or a 5,000 peso bill from Colombia, or a 100 peso note from Mexico. We can take euros, Australian dollars. So we've come a long way.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have gone worldwide.
Yes. So right now we are present in 17 countries. So mostly North and South America, but we have also some clients in Europe, Asia, Australia, as I mentioned, New Zealand. So we're still looking to go into the African market, but I think that's going to be the last continent that we conquer.
Nice. I actually ran across one of your machines in Medellin, Colombia. I was at, I think, Mind Crypto Cafe was
Yeah,
where I saw it. Yeah.
yeah, we're allied with Mine, and they have crypto cafes, as you mentioned, in many cities in Colombia, and our machines are at every one of their cafes. And they also have presence in Mexico, Panama. So we're looking to expand with them to other markets as well.
What's the response been like to the K1 Mini ATM machine?
It's been great. We initially developed it for a Salvadoran need that we detected when Bitcoin was first announced uh, as a solution for El Salvador. We realized that there was not an easy to use ATM that was able to work with small amounts, or just to have like basically the goal is to be able to buy Bitcoin in 5 seconds, and to do it
Mhm.
easily. And we think people will be able to understand, turning this into Bitcoin in 5 seconds, and that's it. So there was not a solution for that. We created that solution, and the solution resonated not only in El Salvador or Central America, but also North and South America. We just came back from the Bitcoin conference in Nashville 2 weeks ago, and it was a blast. The machine was very well received, and people were telling us, obviously not everyone, but some people were telling us it was the best thing in the show. We like to remember those comments. So it's been very well received.
I guess in El Salvador, when Bitcoin became legal tender, with the launch of the Bitcoin law, there was this infrastructure push by the Bukele administration to have Chivo ATMs all over the country. Like, what's the minimum for transacting on a Chivo? And then I guess how does that contrast to the K1?
Okay, so the Chivo ATMs are two-way machines. The
Mm-hmm.
minimum you can withdraw is $20, and the minimum you can buy is I think $5 or maybe $1 with a bill. Our machines differ in that they're one way only, so you can only buy. This
Hmm.
gives us some flexibility because any ATM that is a two-way machine needs to have a big safe for all the cash that's going to be stored in there, and you, as the owner of the machine or as the operator of the machine, might need to have, I don't know, $20,000 in there, $30,000 in the machine. So you're looking at a big, clunky, heavy machine because that's the way it should be.
Hmm.
Now, that's not the solution you need at every location. In some places, you just need people to be able to get rid of their change, after spending a few days around, or people to learn a little bit about Bitcoin. Obviously, if it's their first time or their first week using Bitcoin, they might not be needing to withdraw $1,000. They might just be able to, save a couple of dollars at the end of the day and see, start stacking sats. So that's where our machine comes in because we don't have the need for a big machine. We're able to be, at a little grocery store, at a crypto cafe, as you mentioned, around the corner, in a little convenience store. So we're able to be everywhere. The machine is even portable. Like you can bring it around in a backpack, set it up for a meetup. Everybody learns about Bitcoin, and then they can buy, just a couple quarters or a few hundred pesos worth of Bitcoin. So I think we feel a different niche than the Chivo ATMs and in general than the bigger ATMs. It's mostly with education, convenience, on ramping people who have never used Bitcoin before. And we have thousands of people who have their first experience with Bitcoin has been through our machines.
Yeah, I would agree. And then also, like you just described the perfect use case for it because it's not very big. It's like the size of a speaker, maybe, and you can put it on like a countertop. Like that's where I saw it at mine. It was like on the counter at the bar, and when you go up to get a drink, you could just buy some sats there with the change that the bartender gives you.
Exactly. It's an impulse buy of sats.
Yeah.
And then we
So
could probably do a little demo if you want right now.
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Okay, so I have my machine here. It says buy Bitcoin using spare change. So I just tap on start. I can put in, now I'm going to put in a dollar coin. I also have a $1 bill.
Okay.
So I just put in the bills down here. So now it says my balance is $2.
Okay.
So I'm just going to create a Lightning invoice. It can work with a Lightning invoice or a Lightning address as well. So I have a Lightning invoice on my phone. When I tap on continue, I just show my QR code to the camera. It read it, and I just got my sats.
Yeah, it's amazing how quick and simple that is.
Yeah, we try to make it really simple to use, and we continue to improve it. Now we have new features that we just launched on the software. So, for example, now there's a little video that shows you where the bill goes, where the coins go, and we just try to make it easier and easier every day.
And like to make one of these machines, like what kind of hardware are you using? Is it like a Raspberry Pi or something that's like inside the machine itself, or do you
It's
have like
similar.
specialized hardware?
Yeah, it's similar. It's an ARM-based microcontroller,
Okay.
and what we have here is a touch screen that's full color. So besides having, being able to read the text and okay, put in the coins, the screen is also used for video tutorials. You can have video advertisements at the end of each transaction. So that's another way, another feature that we have. We have speakers in the machine, so you can have it can be an educational video about the how to use Bitcoin, how to use your wallet, or it could be an advertisement for a Bitcoin company that wants to advertise to people who are buying Bitcoin. And that's an easy way to do it, and an easy way to create more revenue for the machine owner.
Amazing. So do you sell the machines like to the owner, or do you like rent the locations to place the machine? I know
No,
like ATMs have different business models.
yeah, our business model is more selling the machine. We are technology manufacturers, and that is the goal of the company, to start manufacturing and selling Bitcoin technology from El Salvador. We do not operate the machines because every region, every country, and sometimes every state has different rules, regulations. You need to register, or you might not need to. So we sell to individuals or companies who want to have a small, easy to use machine. They might not have the space to have a big machine, but they do have the need for people to buy Bitcoin at their location, or maybe they want just to use it for profit, as some of our customers also do. Our customers rent space from a convenience store or from another type of business that has foot traffic, so they just buy the machine from us and they just set it up and operate it themselves.
Okay. And like if someone wanted to buy one, how could they go about doing so?
They can go to our website. The web store is shop.k1.sv, and our website, the main page is just k1.sv,
Okay.
and then they can go from there. You can pay using Bitcoin online, and very soon you'll be you're already able to pay using a credit card as well. But we prefer to sell with Bitcoin.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is there more than one model of the K1? Like, are there different versions of it, or is it all just the K1 Mini?
Well, for now, the machine you see here, this is our advanced model. So it
Okay.
has obviously the touch screen that I mentioned, the coin acceptor. It also has the bill acceptor, and it has two cameras to read the QR code for the Lightning invoice or Lightning address. We have a more simple version that does not include the bill acceptor. So this is the full unit, like bells and whistles and everything. That's $1,850 plus 150 shipping anywhere in the world. So $2,000 including shipping.
Okay.
And the unit without the bill acceptor, the basic model, would be 1,200 plus shipping, so 1,350.
Okay, cool. And are you able to tell, like, I guess, like how much volume you're getting, like in a week or like a month or something through all the different K1 machines that are out there in the wild?
Well, we do not operate the machines, so we don't have, like live data. Obviously, we can talk to our customers. They give us feedback. We have had some events where we have joined some other people that they think when we had the coin only device, the record was about $500 in 2 days, in a weekend, basically, just in
Yeah,
coins. And now with the bills and coins, I know one of our operators sometimes has days that are over $1,000 in one day. But it will really vary depending on the location.
that's amazing. How much, like, out of curiosity, if I don't even know if you'd remember because it's been 2 years, but for the conference for adopting Bitcoin, like, how much volume would you estimate, like, the people from the conference throwing change in the machine every day generated?
Uh, Let me see. At a conference, usually, like, it can be around three, four, $500 per day.
Yeah, I saw like a lot of people around your booth throughout the conference, and then 2023 last year for the conference, you were also there, and I saw a lot of people hovering around the booth as well. It
Yeah,
was
that
very,
bucket
very
of
popular.
change, that bucket of change was heavy at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. That's like why every single day of the conference in the morning, like when I would get to the conference, I would pass by your booth and swap my change out because I
Yeah.
had a whole pocket full of it.
But it's really fun because you get to see people. I mean, their faces light up when they understand and they say, "Oh, wow, this is easy." So it's people who have never bought Bitcoin before. We help them. You can download Moon Wallet. You can download Blink. You can download. Basically any wallet that works on the Lightning Network is compatible with our device. So just any wallet they have, they come and they see how easy it is, and their face just lights up. So it's
Does
pretty
that
cool to see.
include the new Bolt 12 invoices that people have been adopting recently in Lightning?
We've been testing some of those, and it's so far, any Lightning invoice is working because we use basically the machine just tries to resolve the Lightning invoice, find the route and everything. So it's transparent. So it works with any Lightning invoice.
Okay. And then I know you're Bitcoin focused, obviously, since you're in Bitcoin country, but do you have plans to add like Tether as a stable coin or any other like cryptocurrencies to the machines at any point in the future?
So right now, it's not a high priority for us because, as you mentioned, we are in an environment that's basically Bitcoin only. When
Mhm.
people ask us, how can I buy Tether or some other coin, I just tell them it's really easy to buy Bitcoin, and then once you know how to use Bitcoin, for example, you can use Strike Wallet, and then convert it to Tether within Strike Wallet. Or if you want to buy any other coin, basically just start using Bitcoin. And once you have Bitcoin, you can move it to an exchange. Then you can once it is in an exchange, you can have your Bitfinex account connected and whatever you want to do. You can move it on chain. But because our focus is a lot in the education market, we believe that it's easier for people just to start learning with the Lightning Network. And then once they're confident enough, once they have their stack, they can start trying to learn ways to convert it. If we start adding a lot of options initially, you get that paralysis in newcomers that, "Oh, what do I do? Which way do I go?" So there's one way, and then once you have walked that way, once you know how to use Bitcoin, then you can decide how you want to go from there.
And as an operator, like if I purchased one of those machines and set it up somewhere here in Colombia, like how do I like refill it with Bitcoin? Like once it runs out, do I like connect it to an exchange account or something like that? Like how does that work?
So it needs to be connected to a Lightning wallet to be able to pay the
Okay.
invoices immediately. You can right now you can connect it to either Blink through the API, to Strike as well.
Okay.
OpenNode is another option, and we're launching Phoenix Server as well. So you'll be able to connect it if you want to use a custodial service. You can use any of the ones I mentioned. If you want to custody your own Bitcoin and have your own Lightning node, basically we do it through Phoenix Server, which is the simplest way right now. It's even easier than LND. Just setting up a Phoenix server, and you'll be able to connect the machine to that server for it to pay the invoices.
Okay. Awesome. And you mentioned that it's compatible with like different currencies. Like, do I have to let you know that when I order the machine, like, so you make it like specifically for pesos or whatever, or do you just like change like a setting in the settings of the machine itself?
So that's a good question. For now, the bill acceptor needs to be configured from the factory, so we need to set it up for you. Uh, right now, we're supporting about 7 or 8 currencies. We're testing our 8th currency with the bill acceptor. The coin acceptor is more convenient because you can train it locally. Like if you are in Colombia and then you're moving to Peru and you want to accept soles because you're, I don't know, doing a training in Peru. So you can just train the bill acceptor. You can train the coin. So you get soles coins and you start training it, and the machine will be able to understand it after you follow a process. We hope to be able to do that with the bills in the future, but we're still a little limited by the manufacturer of the bill acceptor.
Okay. And then like what kind of security features does the machine have built into it so that like if somebody wants to try to like cheat the machine or scam the machine somehow, it protects against that?
So physically, the machine is built from sheet metal. Basically, it's steel, a steel box. Obviously, it's not, as I mentioned, it's not designed to the spec of maybe a full size ATM, but
Yeah.
it's designed to the spec of a cash register, basically something that's near the customer, but also near somebody from your team who's looking after it. It can be mounted to the wall. It has holes to be able to be mounted either to the wall or to a stand. And then for the coins and the bills, we use the bill acceptor is a bill acceptor from a highly what would you call it, like a highly recognized manufacturer
Okay.
based out of the US, and they provide the firmware to be able to read different currencies. So they back that up. Also, with the same thing with the coin acceptor. The coin acceptor is a device that detects the size, the weight, the metallicity of the coins. So it has multiple checks to be able to validate it. And then just from the software side, we try to be as careful as possible by following a complex series of, obviously I cannot disclose all the security features, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously an SSL certificate, a cryptographic signature, and a few other security layers on the software.
And did you guys like program the software yourselves or did you partner with like a Bitcoin company?
No, actually, we program the software ourselves.
Nice.
We used to do mostly software, and then we started doing hardware about 10 years ago.
Okay. And what inspired you to build a Bitcoin ATM?
It was basically the need. that we detected because it was hard to on ramp onto Bitcoin. People were saying, in El Salvador, how do I buy Bitcoin? Oh, well,
Yeah.
first you need to, create a crypto wallet, and then you need to have a certain amount of money, because if you're going to purchase $10, maybe there's going to be a certain number of fee or a certain amount of fees. So we just wanted to create something that allowed you to buy a small amount without those big fees, and then the Lightning Network was the perfect solution, and we just created the physical connector to the Lightning Network.
Okay. And like the Bitcoin law passed what, like 2 or 3 years ago? Like I think we're going on three,
We're going
maybe.
on 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. Are there exchanges in El Salvador now? Because I know that when the Bitcoin law launched, like I don't even think there was an exchange in El Salvador that people could go to.
Yeah, no, people can use, like, a lot of people in El Salvador. If you're Salvadorian, Chivo is definitely one of the easiest ways to do it. You just go to
Okay.
an ATM. Obviously, you're gonna need to, if you're trying to send it to a Bitcoin wallet, not to your Chivo account, then there's some fees. But within the Chivo ecosystem, it's basically the fees are relatively low, but you need to have bills to be able to do it. Uh, there's other exchanges definitely, like Dito Banks is a new solution that allows you to buy Bitcoin from your bank account here in El Salvador as well. So you can just do a transfer, a bank transfer from your bank account to your Dito Banks account, and then convert it to Bitcoin or USDC.
Okay. And in El Salvador, would you say that since the Bitcoin law has been passed for 3 years now, that people are like more open to the idea of Bitcoin? Like, have you seen more adoption on the ground, like among Salvadorians?
I mean, there is definitely some adoption. People, like, when I tell people, about 5 to 10% of businesses maybe accept Bitcoin now, and they say, oh, I expected it to be more. Well, it's still the highest in the world. Like, I have gone to Florida, Texas, Europe. Obviously, there's no other place on earth that where 5 to 10% of businesses accept Bitcoin already. We do expect Bitcoin adoption to continue growing. We believe that, as K1, our company, we definitely believe that uh, fiat money is not a good long-term solution. I don't have to sell that to you. We just need people to understand the risks of fiat and why Bitcoin is a good solution. But I think we also need to build the tools to make it easy for people to transact in Bitcoin. This is definitely one of the tools that make it easy to learn about Bitcoin. But there are still barriers of entry when you're doing your day-to-day business transactions. Even for us as a Bitcoin-focused company, you know, doing your accounting in Bitcoin and dollars, is there's still some complexity there. Doing a sell in Bitcoin, if it's a low amount, then you need to know to use the Lightning Network. If it's a high amount, then it's going to be another set of challenges. So there are still some gaps that need to be filled or resolved by the Bitcoin community, by Bitcoin companies, and we are looking at creating more products, because being on the ground, experiencing these issues, talking to the people, we have been able to detect other areas where solutions need to be built, and we're hoping that we'll be able to provide those solutions as well.
Are you allowed to talk about any of these other products, or are they still kind of a trade secret?
We'll be announcing some at Adopting Bitcoin this year, so if you want to find out, you need to be at Adopting Bitcoin this year as well. But I can only say it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
That's the best part.
Nice. If I'm operating a K1 Mini, like how much, I guess, change does the machine accept before I have to like open it up and take the money out? And
So the bill acceptor has the capacity for 300 bills.
okay,
If it's $20, then that's about $6,000. If it's $1 that you're accepting mostly, it's going to be about $300. So 300 bills and about 600 coins in the model that has the that accepts both types of currency. If
okay.
it's the coin only model, that one fits about 2,000 coins.
Oh, okay. So it's a lot bigger if it's coin only.
Yeah, basically because the whole space inside is only for coins, so that's why it has a higher capacity. And we also
Nice.
have another model that has basically like an additional safe below the machine. So you can take even more coins. I think that one takes about 5,000 coins.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. And I just off an estimate, if people are using the coin machine day in day out and it holds 2,000 coins, like how long, like how many days would you estimate that is before you have to like open it and service it?
It would really depend on the traffic you're getting. But let's say if you're at a high traffic location, if you're getting, I don't know, 500 coins per day on average, it could be, a couple times a week that you need to empty it, and then you can continue working.
Okay, cool. And do you know how many K1 minis have been like installed in El Salvador itself?
In El Salvador, I think we are around 10 units, and
10
then all
units?
over the world, we're almost ready, almost at the 100 unit mark.
Wow. Okay, cool. So they're super popular then.
Yeah, mostly outside El Salvador, but also here as well. I mean, obviously the market is much bigger outside than inside, but we have units, as I mentioned, in 5 continents already.
Wow. That's that's pretty impressive. Uh,
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a
Indeed.
lot of work, but we have had a lot of support from the community as well.
Cool. And I guess which country outside of El Salvador has the most K1 minis?
Definitely the U.S.
The US?
Yes, by far.
You just mentioned a few minutes ago that you attended the Nashville Conference. Would you mind telling us what your experience was like in Nashville this year?
I mean, I was manning the booth from from sunrise to sundown. So I can tell you, our booth was, we had a lot of, so the way it works is that, and it was the same thing last year. We have a booth for El Salvador, and this year we had 6 companies from El Salvador there, and we had a lot of people. From the first day that was only for, they called it the industry day. So basically, you had only it was a different priced ticket, so not everybody was there, but we still had a lot of activity. We had business basically every day of the conference. It was packed. It was a bigger place than it was last year at Miami. I had never been to Nashville, so I liked the town. The venue was phenomenal, and it was full. Like the last 2 days when it was like the general admission, it was packed. Definitely, also the last day, Donald Trump's visit helped to drive the crowd because
Oh, I'm sure.
basically he pulled everybody into the conference area for a few hours. But before his speech and after his speech, it was just a flood of people.
Yeah, I imagine. Like that was pretty high profile that they were able to get so many politicians there to like campaign. Like it's pretty crazy that Bitcoin has gotten to the level where it's like a political talking point now.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's it's one of the things that needs to be addressed by politicians nowadays.
Yeah. I would say that like to El Salvador's credit, like Bukele was probably the one that started that trend.
Definitely, and by far in El Salvador, it's a much more high profile. Like in El Salvador, everybody knows what Bitcoin is. Like I think even in the U.S., a more advanced economy, you find people who don't know nothing. I mean, they don't know anything about Bitcoin. But here in El Salvador, just because of the exposure and everything that has happened, everybody knows that there's some magic internet money, at work somewhere. So they,
Yeah.
they have a concept of where it is.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely true. And I would say like in the US there everyone's probably heard of Bitcoin, but you're right. There's a lot of people that have no clue like what it is or how it works or any of the details. They may have heard it on the news cuz like now the news channels have like the Bitcoin price
Yeah,
with the rest of the financial reporting, but uh I would say the depth of knowledge is definitely probably deeper in El Salvador.
yeah, for sure.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about K1 that is important for the audience to know?
Uh, well, I mean, we're a Salvadoran company that's looking to expand Bitcoin adoption in El Salvador and outside El Salvador. If you want to learn more about us, you can follow us on social media. Twitter is probably the best option, or X. We're K1 El Salvador in Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram. If you want to follow us and learn more about it, K1 El Salvador on social media. And if you want to buy one of our machines and bring it to a meetup in your city and be the center of attention and help thousands of people learn and use Bitcoin for real, then just go to shop.k1.sv.
Okay, amazing. And then I guess my last question before we end the interview is, if a company wanted to advertise through the K1 machines, as you mentioned, with a video or something like that, how would they go about doing so?
Yeah, you can contact us either through social media or by sending an email to info@k1.sv, and we'll be happy to share all the details of what the media package entails.
Okay, perfect. Well, Edgar, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a pleasure interviewing you. I'll see you in November at Adopting Bitcoin, and thanks again.
Thanks to you, Ricardo. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Indeed.